Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, or any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easy to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
You know, I'm still doing stunts. You know, and the concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, you know, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Lights are bright on
Week 7 of the football season. District play is starting to heat up in 3A, and we're here to talk about it. Hello, everybody. It's Terry Grant Goodwin here. Sideline to sideline, the 3A edition. As we're going to be talking all the games of last week of note and the games of this week of note. And also we've got Coach X. First, though, we do want to say thank you to Big Country Blitz for being one of our sponsors. You can find them online at bigcountryblitz.com for all your Big Country football news, as you can see on that scroller right there. They also cover college. They have 54 high school teams, and then they cover Abilene Christian, Howard Payne, Hardin-Simmons, McMurray, and Cisco College. And they also have a great magazine that we get every year.
Abilene Christian's really making a name this year, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Speaking of a name, I didn't even say this earlier. If y'all know, we do a show for KETR out of Commerce because I went to college there. I am so happy that they finally came to their senses. They should have done this, honestly, when they got into the A&M system. But A&M Commerce is petitioning A&M to change their name to East Texas A&M. That sounds so cool. Like, or even if they went North Texas A&M. I never liked A&M. I don't like ats. Now, if you do it like UT Tyler, that sounds UT Dallas. Like UT does it better because it's
A&M Commerce.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound as good. Like I don't know why it just doesn't sound as good. But anyway, I'm happy about that. Just you bringing up Abilene
Aggies, man.
No, they're Lions. Don't ever. So I went to right before the season started. I always get my gums cleaned, and I went to the dentist. And
your gums cleaned?
Yeah, you do that deep clean where they scrape.
Why don't they just go ahead and do your teeth?
Well, they do, but it's a deep.
Well,
it's
gums,
well, it's a separate thing. You can't do them both at the same time. You do one, but anyway, the lady that was hygienist or dental assistant.
Yeah, you're doing great, man.
Thank you. That's why I'm a professional broadcaster. She was like, making small talk while she's starting the process,
and she's like, "Your gums look horrible."
She said that she goes, "But your gums look like a Grant Goodwin on crack," and I'm like, "Well, that's Grant Goodwin, so hey." But anyway, she was like, "Yeah, I went to A&M." I said, "That's cool. I went to A&M Commerce. Also, we're Aggies," and I'm just like, started. No, we're not. I almost left, but I already had paid. But no. Anyway. Let's get into the 3A review.
Cool story, bro.
Thank you, bro. If you haven't ever watched or listened, we review the week that was. We preview the week that is. So let's start with the review section, and let's start with the team that we saw this past weekend. Mm-hmm. You knew it. We talked about it. We kind of knew. We get one or two of these every year where this is kind of the only chance we really get to see a team that we feel like we need to see. And unfortunately, that was this week with Lexington and Caldwell. But Lexington showed why they're good. And by the way, Caldwell's not terrible in 4A this year.
Caldwell's much improved.
They're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they might even win a first round game depending on their seeding. Now, I mean, for them, for where Caldwell has been since the last 10 years. And by the way, this is a note to all you fans who are always wanting to get rid of your coaches because they can't quite win enough, but they win a lot. That's what happened to Caldwell 15 years ago.
With Billy Bob.
And they have literally been in the wandering the forest since then. So you don't always immediately improve just by getting rid of somebody. It's the Dak Prescott thing for the Cowboys. But anyway,
let's swing this thing back to Lexington though. Wow, all we've heard about the last few years is Case Evans, a quarterback, and Case Evans is great. We saw him firsthand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mason Beasley at receiver, the right kid at running back, really good. But what stood out to me most in this game is how nasty that Lexington defense is. That defensive front for Lexington, I'm sorry, but if you're going to try to score points against Lexington, you're not going to do it up the middle. And you better have pretty good offensive tackles on both sides to hold up against the push that Lexington front's going to get. That Lexington defensive front they're grown men.
Well, I mean, you look at what they've done coming into this game. They held Marlin to 12, Little River Academy to 21, and that was a 45-21. Rockdale to 7, Groesbeck, a solid team, to 13 points. And then again, Caldwell.
And I'd venture to say anything above a touchdown against Lexington is probably trash points.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this Lexington defense is that good.
I mean,
and you have a Case Evans at quarterback and a Mason Beasley and those guys on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe the depth isn't there. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, Lexington looks like the real deal on the defensive side of the ball, and the offense is pretty damn good.
And it's the old knock on wood. It feels like this is the first time in a few years that they haven't had a major injury to a major player. Right. And you hope that continues. And it's funny because it sounds like, you think, well, man, they must have really struggled. They went 3 rounds deep last year. Now the two
lost to Poth in a pretty good one.
Now the 2 years before that, they were 10-1, but that was I can't remember if it was Evan. I think it was the other quarterback or somebody.
I think Evans was there, but they just
Well, no, I mean somebody. Well, no, they had a big injury too. I think it was their running back. I remember that. If I want to say it happened like in the Rogers or Clifton game, but anyway, point is, I feel like Lexington this year, as long as they keep continuing this. That they're just throwing their name in that region as one of the region favorites.
Yeah, again, Lexington in Class 3A has been one of the most impressive defenses I've seen so far.
You know who hasn't been impressive?
Who?
Dangerfield.
No,
but DeKalb, and this is funny because. So DeKalb lost to Jefferson a few weeks ago, and they were actually up on Jefferson. I want to say 2 scores. I know they were at once. I want to say 2 scores.
Them like 36
to 30. Yeah, Jefferson had a great second half. But you and I were talking like, hey, is this a good thing for Jefferson? Is it a weird game? Because, DeKalb has been solid the last few years, but they lost their stud running back, Wink Williams. But, man, DeKalb has continued to win other than that game. They're 5-1. I think it's safe to say that was actually a quality win for Jefferson now.
Yeah.
And I know Dangerfield is struggling, but Dangerfield, you would still feel in a normal year would beat this type of DeKalb, a good DeKalb team would still beat them by a touchdown or two. And it is so. And it is safe to say, I think Dangerfield's, I don't even know if Dangerfield makes the playoffs this year.
I think their goose is cooked.
Yeah.
They might make the playoffs, but they're not going anywhere close to what they did last year.
Nope.
Right. Unless something really drastically changed.
Yep.
And look, it's not a personnel thing in Dangerfield. I mean, with all the dudes they got.
Oh, you mean talent? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you know something different, email us, Grant and Terry at Grant and Terry at S2Sport.com and let us know. Because, I mean, and we weren't the only ones. I mean, Dangerfield is never a sure thing because they have this consistency issue. But, man, after the way they finished last year, I really thought this year. You know who they're kind of looking like, except for this team.
It's a new offensive coordinator, and I guess they hadn't got used to that.
I guess. But they remind me a lot of Gladewater, who lost to Pottsboro in the semifinals in a classic overtime game. And now Gladewater did good the next year in the regular season, but then they roll into week 1 of the playoffs, and we were there, and Mount Vernon just spanked them.
That's right.
This feels a lot like that, except for Gladewater at least was winning in the regular season. Dangerfield just isn't. But anyway.
And they got beat by a better team in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, we learned.
Draw,
we didn't
right?
know at that time that Mount Vernon was going to be what they were.
Right.
But yeah, they got really, really good, really quick there. I'll tell you a team that's got really good, who has a Mount Vernon tie, and that's Liberty Ilo, of course, head coach Brad Willard, who took over for Riles at Mount Vernon. They beat Tatum in a great game, 36-26. This is a back-and-forth game, and then the Leopards do what teams that are learning to win do. They take that 8-point lead, and then they turn around and they make it a 10-point game.
Yeah.
And I am really, really impressed with how quick. And again, it does help that Liberty Ilo finally dropped into 3A where their numbers are more competitive. But with Brad Willard and that coaching staff in this this is going to be a hell of a region in the playoffs.
Man, sky's the limit. If coaching matters, it matters right here because LE is a different football team. LE has had the dudes and the athletes to be this good.
Yeah.
Right. But coaching matters. And Coach Willard is making LE into a monster.
I do want to give some credit to their former coach, Dvoski Davis. I mean, he's the one that started coming out of that hole where, remember 2019, dude, they were 0-10. Like, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Since then, they've been consistently 6-5 and 4-6 and 7-4. And last year they slipped a little, but I think you saw, we always talk about this. The coach that comes in and start winning, it will get the credit. But usually there's the coach before him that kind of started laying that foundation. And then Willard's going to come in and he's going to build on the top of that.
Yeah.
Not only is this going to be a fun region, it kind of feels like 8-3A Division I might have all their teams playing for a while in this. I mean, as good as but when you got Jefferson and Liberty Ilo and Tatum, and I still think Atlanta, and we'll talk about them right now, they got beat by Jefferson. What was that? 43-14. Jefferson just got on them early. And man, with that running game, if you spot Jefferson a 2-score lead, it's going to be really, really tough because they've got Cameron Williams, of course. But then, you and I were really impressed with Tymus Taylor, their quarterback, knowing when to throw, when not to throw, when to run. I'm just still more and more impressed. And again, Ty Taylor comes in from Pleasant Grove. Antoine Jimerson had kind of got them to where they were a consistent 11 a game team, meaning a round or two in the playoffs. But right now, this team's looking like one of those special Jefferson years that's going to see them play a while.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, let's go back up northwest. Mainly, I guess you would say Lubbock area, right? Dalhart 50, Muleshoe 21. Dalhart's now 5-1. Dalhart actually led just 14-8 at the half, but then just opened up a can of whoop ass on them in the second half. The Dalhart offense racked up 554 yards of offense, including 350 yards on the ground. Hunter Truster went 9-14 for 204 yards passing.
That just seeing the second half. I mean, when you think about only having 14 and a half and ending the game with 50, but also spotting Muleshoe only 2 more touchdowns. I think this is a good win for Dalhart.
Muleshoe's a pretty good football team.
And
that's
this is a good win for Dalhart as they roll into 1-3A Division I.
I'm a Dalhart Wolf fan. I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
No, right? I agree totally. And this is going to be a fun district at the top with Bushland, Dalhart, and Shallow Water. Shallow Water, we haven't talked
they beat Canadian
about
49-27.
Exactly.
Week, right?
Yes. And, their only losses were to Seminole by 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then Midland Greenwood by 11. 2 4A teams that'll play for a couple rounds in the 4A playoffs. Beat Idalou 2 weeks ago, 24-20. They're not ranked, but that's a lot because 3A Division I just has a lot of.
It's a stacked division.
Yeah, there's 15 teams that could be in the top 10. And Shallow Water, I think, is one of them. And I know rightfully so. I think Bushland, who is a ranked team, is a favorite in that district. But I think Shallow Water can at least give them a hard time. This will be a fun district.
Bushland would be a great game.
Yep.
All right. How about UC Randolph 28, Ingram Moore 14. Randolph moves to 6-0. Columbus 56, Rogers 8. Rockport Fulton 28, Hallettsville 20.
I do want to say, Columbus was playing with really heavy hearts this week.
Yes.
As a player passed away. They were playing with heavy hearts as Alex Medrano passed away. It it's never easy when a young a person, especially an athlete, passes away. And usually it's the things you think of, a car wreck or something like this. He got an illness, and just one of those where it went bad. He I think from what I understood, he got an infection in his brain, and it just, went from just being a guy that's sick to dying at 17. And I really, that's Rogers did amazing. Like, they put his number on their field. They sent flowers. They, just sometimes the game doesn't matter, but right. I think it was really impressive. They came out sluggish. They were a little sluggish early, but Columbus, that's going to be on their hearts the rest of the season, and our hearts go out to them as well. But good win for Columbus.
Yeah. All right. Orangefield 38, Anahuac 0. Good win for Orangefield. Anahuac has been on and off this year, right? Only 1 or 2 losses entering the game. But I think Orangefield, the way they won this game, might kind of announce themselves. They got a big one this week. I saw it on the run sheet that we built for the preview part. And my mic fell. But they got a big one this week, I believe.
Cold Spring.
Cold Spring.
And is Cold Spring back? Are they finally back?
They could be, dude. They could be, and we'll discuss that a little bit more here in the next segment. But good win for Orangefield, especially the way they did it, pitching the shutout 38-0 over. I still think is a very rough and tumble physical Anahuac team.
I mean, this is an Anahuac team that scored 29 on Woodville, who traditionally is just a tough as nails defense. They scored 49 on Kirbyville. I thought Orange Grove I thought Orangefield would win this game, but I did not expect 38-0.
Right.
Now they turn around and they've got Anahuac now has East Chambers this week. And this is one of the
tough out or easy out either.
No, this is a tough district. First off, it's a bigger district. They're already about to play game 3 of district, but you got East Chambers, Orangefield, Anahuac, and Cold Spring all sitting at 4-1 or 4-2. And then you got a team like the Hardin Hornets that you don't talk about a lot. And I know they got their doors beat by Orangefield, but they barely got beat by East Chambers last week, 28-22. This is a really tough district. And, man, these deep districts, we were talking about this earlier, you can't slip up. Because you can find yourself
now. If you want to get seeding,
exactly. I'm about to say you can slip up and still make the playoffs, but if you slip
what
up,
good is that if you have a poor seed?
Yes,
in this region.
I was just about to say, especially in this region,
right? You might as well just back.
Go to the what's that team? Charlotte with Shiner this week. We're good. You know what? We're just going to take that loss. You're good to go, Shiner. But anyway, where are we going next?
All right. East Bernard 31, Rice Consolidated 23. This was a team of unbeatens, right? A battle of unbeatens. Rice Consolidated's defense had kind of stolen the show for them for the first 3 weeks. And East Bernard comes out with the 31-23 win over Rice Consolidated. East Bernard 6-0. I ask you, how legit are the Brahmas?
Oh, I think they're very legit.
I do too. Why are we not hearing more about them statewide?
You know how that works. A team that consistently wins 12, 11, 13 games, and then they have
they are ranked. Like
they have
Campbell's in the AP, which is basically the AP.
Dave Campbell
has them ranked higher, but outside of that, I hear no.
Because they had the really bad year 2 years ago, and that's what people it's a recency bias. That's the thing. But I will say this game, Rice Consolidated losing this game by 8 is the best proving thing for me that Rice Consolidated is real this year. Not their wins. I mean, their wins were great, but going with an East Bernard team that you and I both think are going to play 3-4 rounds, it tells me that Rice Consolidated might be there playing 3-4 rounds if people don't watch out. It's good to see them back.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this one, man. Wall beats Idalou 33-10. Okay, big deal. Good win. The fact that Wall turned the ball over 6 times and still won by that amount, it tells me 2 things. A, they can still win when they turn the ball over, and B, that you can't do that in the playoffs though. But still, this just shows to me the transformation of Wall of being they're always good defensively and they'll kind of lull you to sleep offensively. I think this offense, Eric Slaughter, the head coach, being more dynamic, it has made Wall be a team that I actually can see going, because it felt like they're always locked at 12 games. Second round, third round, I I see them
and
again.
they're all way more, offensively diverse now, right? Their quarterback, Landon York, throws for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then their running back, Thomas Lanos runs for 131 yards.
Yep.
So, they're way more balanced, right, than they were in the wing T from a few years ago. So, yeah, and Walt, the defense kind of gets overlooked. But, I mean, that Walt defense all year has been money.
I mean, even, to me, and you look at what Jim Nett has done the last few weeks, that win for Wall over them is just that more impressive.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that's going to hurt Wall now, they can get right with any health issues is their district's pretty weak. I mean, you've got Kahoma who's 4-1, but
they played heavy hitters in pre-district.
Exactly. That's my point. Yes.
That's the thing.
And now
if
you've
got a weaker district, you play the heavy hitters early, you win your district, then get right for the playoffs, and you're fine.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. That is the 3A review. When we come back, we'll talk week 7. Oh, and we'll have Coach X right here on Sideline to Sideline, the 3A edition.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe from concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Lights are bright on Friday night.
All right, it is time to preview this week. If you know what that means it's Coach X. His segment brought to you by NeuroGuard. You can check them online at NeuroGuardPlus.com.
Hear the band play the on.
Not really. I was just trying to be nice.
I was about to say, I've been like gold for so long, and I don't even get a sponsor.
I will agree. If you're comparing you to Coach X, you've been gold many more times.
I'm like way here. He's here, and he gets a sponsor.
Hey, I just want to say though, Matt Stepp, if you aren't busy on Tuesday nights, you can come over here. I'm just saying. That would be awkward though, because you'd show up and I'd be like, "Oh no, hey, at least you don't have to worry about him drinking your whiskey."
That Spider-Man meme.
Oh yeah. All right. So if you don't know, Coach X is a real coach. I forget I stopped doing that because I assume everybody knows who he is, but I've been getting a lot more. And this means we're getting newer listeners, which we appreciate. I've been getting that question a lot more. Like, is he a real coach? Yes.
I thought you told me new listeners can go to hell.
Yeah, only the ones from Royce City.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not from there.
That's right. You're from North Crowley, Allen, DeSoto.
Crowley, but I'm in the North Crowley.
Well, aren't you also from Aledo and their 155 game district
right
winning
in
streak?
Between North Crowley and Aledo,
there
Vanderbilt.
Is it one of those you?
Did you hear the big win we had over Bama the other night, dude?
Who's we? Oh, I was thinking Vanderbilt Industrial.
No, Vanderbilt.
They're not having a good season. Obviously, their coach got reassigned.
Who?
Vanderbilt Industrial.
Oh yeah,
Craig
but I'm
Merrill.
talking about the Commodores.
Dude, that was fun.
Oh yeah,
It was fun.
We tore Nashville
Okay,
up. That was
anyway.
awesome.
It was
when we were doing our radio show there. We were just laughing at all the people like carrying the goalpost down. The
Broadway.
What is it, Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were laughing and we're like, oh wow. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait to do this for my Ohio State show.
Wait, now you have
I took Psych 101 online
Not-
from Ohio State.
not psychology, but psych.
Psych. That's right. I hate that you keep calling me a bandwagon fan. 'Cause
Oh,
I'm
I know,
not.
dude. I know.
I've
It's
been
weird
there
though. You keep
forever.
going to all these like North Crowley reunions and DeSoto reunions, and everybody's like, especially DeSoto, everybody's like, "Who the hell are you?" Anyway, Coach X, he's a real coach. That was the whole point of that.
These things doesn't belong here.
So again, though, Coach X is a real coach, even though he has taken the year off this year.
All my DeSoto, Duncanville, and even North Crowley thing is all my behavior to go into there is all based off of the Wayans.
Hey, I love
Wayans
them.
brothers.
I love
And they're
them.
like, no,
Dadgummit.
not at all. I'm sorry, I pushed the table.
No, it's not you. It's not you.
Playoff ball.
Sorry, if you're listening
Here's game ball.
Yeah,
By the
game
way,
ball.
We have not heard from game ball.
Good. We already have playoff tree. We already have Coach X. Wait,
Is playoff tree coming back?
Yes, IQ test. What is smarter, playoff tree, game ball, or Coach X?
So playoff trees 1, game balls 2.
We haven't even
Second,
heard
though.
game ball.
I know, but game ball, he was in that
We haven't figured out
Grandview
his
game
voice
a couple
yet.
of weeks ago. He was trying to tell us some
Yeah, he was.
juicy details
It-
about the center.
We don't know how. We don't know how, but this game ball, it's been verified. Trust us, has been in 22 state championship games.
Right.
Apparently, like
And every one of them has had controversy, and he has the story.
the Hail Mary,
I think it's a he.
the infamous.
Totally he.
Wait, you sure he wasn't
Hung
neutered?
like a gnat.
The infamous PNG South Oak Cliff pass interference.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, we know the
he
ref.
knows the real deal.
But we know the ref. One of the officials is technically living in PNG. And by the way, that doesn't really matter.
In Port Neches.
Yeah, everybody knows PNG.
You don't live in PNG
Well, yeah.
because you got Port Neches or you got Crows. Come on, man.
It's like living in Linden, Kildare. We had a real. This is intelligent our conversations are on the road. We ran through Rosebud a lot, and you and I were like, "Who gets to pick which is first? Like, why isn't it?"
You asked that. I was like, that's the dumbest question.
No, you did
ever.
because we both agreed that
Bullshit.
Lot Rosebud
Bull
sounds
crap.
better than
Bull
Rosebud Lot,
corn.
but Linden Kildare sounds better than Kildare Linden. Oh wait,
It
hang
does.
on. I think Linden Kildare just got a new head coach. All right, let's get into what coach. Maybe that's what.
How about
Coach
Jewett
X.
Leon or Leon Jewett? Jewett Leon.
Okay, I try to stay out of the Gaza stuff, but if you want to talk about that, that's fine. Do that
How
on
about
another.
Palestine then? Or Westwood, Palestine.
I still remember to this day, back in my Tyler days of this, before it was even called Sideline to Sideline, it was called the 3A show and the 4 show.
days.
I was in Tyler after college.
Sounds like a party, man.
but-
Tyler days. Woohoo.
But Palestine, that
City
was
Lights.
that was
Wasn't
the
there a
year.
City Lights there.
Yeah. Well, it's in between
Yeah.
Kilgore and on
I've been there
154.
a couple
The
of
31, excuse
drunk
me, not
nights.
154. So that was the year after Adrian Peterson,
Mhm.
and they had dropped down, and Hunky Cooper was their guy.
Hunky Cooper.
Yeah, and they went to the state semifinal.
Wait, Hunky Cooper.
No, Hunky Cooper.
Was that a player or a coach?
It was a player.
Hunky Cooper.
Dude, we've seen Pee-wees and all that. And
I know,
Hunky.
but Hunky
Anyway,
Cooper.
so I can't remember who it was they were playing in the state semifinal, but they had a radio show and they called and asked if I would be on their show to talk that game. And the whole time they were like, and in Palestine, and what are your thoughts on Palestine? I finally said, look, I'm not here to talk about Middle East. I'm here to talk some football. But anyway, I remember, Coach X. Hey, guys, I was trying to watch the video of last week's show. Did you know that you guys look just like Bigfoot, all blurry and out of focus? By the way, as you can tell, we got that fixed. Spectrum came out and they fixed it, and we're back good on the upload. I do apologize for that last year. Except for that guy.
Cable.
I've never had problems with them. I know a lot of people have, but luckily here, they've just like that. They came and fixed it that day.
They scramble the wrong channels, though, right?
Well, that's all of them. Bring back Spice. Why is it twice we've talked Spice Channel tonight?
In the break room over there earlier, though, for a second.
Wait, y'all have Spice Channel in the break room
over here?
Oh yeah, of course I do. That's just the computer, like in South Park when Randy gets on the computer. Anyway, Jesus, you've got me. I'm not even the one with the nervous juice tonight. You're the one getting me all farther. Anyway. Except that guy in Oklahoma just found the first video of a non-blurry big. Damn it, stop. And we're in such a place that we're in a world that nobody gives a damn. Think about that. We just found the missing link in the theory of evolution chain, and everybody was like, so what? Speaking of, have you seen the Kicked in the Nuts challenge on TikTok? To me, that is as crazy as Grant when he hosts the Diddy Baby Oil Freak Off party, and that is what Coach X has to say. Hey, here later on. Oh, wait, was that in the last show? Yeah.
You think I'm cool enough to host a Diddy type party with all the baby oil and stuff?
764 marital aids.
What?
764
marital aids.
Toys.
Oh, 764.
764.
How many different types? There can't be that many.
Oh, there's probably some repetitiveness in there, buddy.
Okay, I was about to say.
I don't think quality and uniqueness is the point of that.
Maybe it's a bunch of redundants that they just have washed, but I don't think Diddy probably cleaned anything.
With as much baby, I think that's the whole point.
Baby oil is not like an antiseptic.
No. But so there's a lot of the jokes about
Why
him.
Why are we talking about antiseptics and baby oil?
Because Coach X. But
why can't we go into Jim Ned and Comanche?
Because now I got to finish this point. One of the funny things about P. Diddy is he's known as being a guy like as soon as he would shake your hand, he would put on, disinfectant. But hey, if you have something to shove, apparently he's fine with that. Anyway, let's get into the first game. We're going to talk. And I think this one is not only low key, but high key. The best matchup in 3A this week, possibly. And it's weird because it's coming between two teams that are 3-2, but these are not 3-2s built like average 3-2 teams.
Right. This is most definitely, to me, the game of the week in Class 3A is Jim Ned and Comanche. Both teams are 3-2, but the losses were to really, really good teams. Jim Ned's quarterback, Gray Beasley, is a baller. Aiden Ellis at running back, Breck Lawson at receiver. That's just a three-headed monster for Jim Ned. Comanche's quarterback, Caden Davis, is a dual threat. Running back, LaDainian Smith is really darn good. The defenses have been solid. I kind of think Jim Ned's defense might be a little bit better, though.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think we're seeing Jim Ned starting to round into that form that's closer to the 2020, 2021 level than the last couple. And they've still been solid the last couple of years. Don't get me. But again, injuries was a big thing. Gray Beasley, of course, last year missed most of the season.
Jim Ned has skirted injuries this year,
and knock on wood on that one. When you look at their losses, 7 points to 4A Estacada, 1 point to Wall, 25-24. Beat Jacksboro in a shootout, 42-40.
And Jacksboro's a really good football
really good team. They're not just Logan Belcher from last year, folks. Jacksboro's but to beat them, we just talk about this all the time, and especially last show talking about high score, low score. Win a shootout against Jacksboro, 42-40, and then win a defensive slugfest against Holiday, 17-15.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
I think it might be a while before we see a Jim Ned loss, and maybe we won't see a Jim Ned loss. It just feels, I don't know.
Yeah.
And in saying that, Comanche's 2 losses to Pope, 35-14, and then Toller 14-7. And Toller,
this is not last year's Toller though.
But after that first loss, 10-0 to Peaster, which by the way doesn't look bad now. Peaster's freaking rolling. Toller's ran off 4 in a row against good teams.
Yeah.
So or not all good teams, but a couple good teams. So no, it's not. Toller of last year, but and I know we're kind of twisting off, but they still have Peyton Brown, one of the best running backs in the area. And they still have another great running back in Drake Owens, who hasn't quite taken over for Isaac Blessing, but he has filled in nightly. Toller's got some noise, but I'm just saying, I'm with you though. I like Jim Ned, but I do think this is going to be one possession.
A great game. This is over in Comanche.
Yep.
Right?
All right. Coach X has something
on
this
They had the hanging tree in Comanche.
Yes.
Down on the square where I guess it was the native Indians, they hung, and that tree is still there.
Yep.
It's crazy.
All right, here's what Coach X has to say. I once watched a man named James Neddington fight a Comanche Indian. So I've seen this in real life and in real time. James had him until Fights Like Bear pulled out that 8 inches of Bowie. Wait, what have you been watching? James then ran off and made the right decision because Comanche said they were going to insert that into every orifice in James. And that's not all. Comanche wins. Whoa.
Wow. The upset. And
would it be an upset? I don't even know if it'd be an upset. I think this is a one possession either way.
I do too, but I still like Jim Ned. I think Jim
Ned,
I
do too.
If anything's a blowout, not a blowout, but if any team wins by 2 touchdowns or more, it's going to be Jim Ned. I love that Jim Ned offense and Gray Beasley, man.
No, I agree.
That's
100%.
crazy. All right, Liberty Ilo versus Gladewater, a sneaky good game, but I don't know if Gladewater can hang around for 4 quarters with this LE team that has just found their footing.
Well, so the issue with Gladewater this year is the couple of wins early that we thought looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerfield is just completely
right.
West Rusk. I don't know if people were just trying to be unique and pick a team that's been really good consistently.
No, it wasn't being unique.
No, not you. No,
those 2 teams were really thought of really highly.
Well, that's what I was about to say, though. But I'm actually parroting what you said a few weeks ago. You were like, I watched West Rusk and they're okay. I don't know why a lot of people were saying they might be a dark horse in that region. And so those 2 losses or wins that Gladewater had, now you go, okay, that doesn't really look as good.
Yeah.
And so I think Liberty Ilo might end up winning this by a couple touchdowns.
And
Brad Willard just knows how to beat Gladewater.
Dude, Brad Willard knows how to beat a lot of teams. I mean, he does. Dude, Brad Willard is okay. Brad Willard is our Abilene Wiley Hugh Sanford.
I want to eventually know the Mount Vernon story. To leave Mount Vernon to go be a 6A offensive coordinator for 1 year. Maybe he just got there and was like, okay, I don't like this. But Liberty Ilo struck gold with this guy. If he stays, he is not quite got to the state championship. But hey, when you had Brock, but when you had Brock,
it's going to happen.
Oh,
if
I agree.
He stays at LE, it will happen.
And,
I mean, this guy knows. He knows what he's doing.
And
he knows how to get dudes in the right place and knows how to get people to buy in and gets the most out of his kids.
100%. His concepts on offense are interesting. He knows how to find the matchups. He doesn't just trust the athletes on the field. He's going to game plan them open, which is so frustrating when you're fans of certain teams in the NFL that you go, why don't you do more things like concepts like that? But anyway, let me see. The Coach X have something on this one. Let me check.
He doesn't.
No, he does not.
I didn't give them the option there.
Good.
I know the
dude,
option
that has been your best decision you've made in 17
Thank
years.
You. Enough Bigfoot talk, please. And Oklahoma talk. This week, you want to bring up Oklahoma this week?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Cold Spring 4-1, Orangefield 4-2. If you're not a statewide football fan, you don't know about this matchup, but this is a tasty matchup down in 3A. Orangefield's really good. Cold Spring, maybe a little bit of resurgent for the Trojans right now. I like Cold Spring in this game in a close one. Orangefield in a close one over Cold Spring. But Cold Spring's really good. I know they're 1 loss. They got 1 loss. Orangefield's got 2. Orangefield, though, pretty sexy record. They can run the football, though.
Both of them
defense has been really good so far.
Both of them lost to Woodville. That's one of their wins. For the Cold Spring, I have PTSD of trying to play a single high safety against Carthage. But anyway, I like Orangefield in this game too. But I agree with you. Look, we talked a little bit about this before. 10-3A Division I this year, man, with East Chambers, Orangefield, Cold Spring, and even Anahuac. I mean, and then we talked Hardin. They're 0-2 in district, but
nobody's standing out 100%.
No, I think East Chambers might be. I can't
But
remember.
East Chambers hasn't really played.
Who was their one loss? Was it Rice Consolidated? Yeah, they lost to Rice Consolidated.
Right, but other
Yeah,
than
you're right.
that,
They beat
hadn't played a
Liberty, Butte.
killer schedule.
No, that's you're and that's always kind of been East Chambers' theme. You just always feel like, man, toughen that non-district up a little bit more.
I'm always mad at East Chambers anyway because in my college years, we took a road trip, went to East Chambers or Winnie actually, and I left my wallet on the counter at the Exxon. 5 minutes later, after filling up with gas, realized it. All my buddies, we looped back around and went back, and I know I left it there. And they were like, "No, we didn't see it." No.
Wow,
I mean, they couldn't have got very far, but because I might have had like $5.
And then 6 months later, your credit score improved.
Right. Thank you. But that does not lead the fact absent that I had no gas money to get back to, at the time I was living in Austin or Waco at that time, or Del Rio.
Boy, that's three random towns.
I think it was Waco or not Del Rio. I don't know. But anyway, we had to stop at my buddy's aunt's house along the way and borrow $20 to have gas back. All because in Winnie, Texas, East Chambers, they couldn't return my wallet.
So that's almost Huntington level hate.
Not that bad.
Not that bad. Okay. All right, let's go to Lexington versus Thrall. Lexington is 6-0. Thrall 5-1.
Good game here.
Yep.
Thrall's 5-1.
Their loss was to Troy. It was pretty bad, but look, Troy's pretty good this year, so that's not a negative.
Yeah.
Seeing Lexington, we know the names: K7, Mason Beal, Noah Harris. Like you said, though, their defense, it's not underrated.
Nasty, dude. It is underrated. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah, I guess
they
so.
talk about
We always
Mason
talk
Beal
about
and K7.
Well, Lexington's
and Noah
known
Harris.
as Lexington's known as the quarterback school. Like they always have that running back, but when they're great, they always have a quarterback that runs around and all that. Thrall, on the other hand, again 5-1. They lost to Troy 68-20. They kind of have the same thing we were just talking about with East Chambers. They beat Thorndale, Rosebud Lott, Eastside, Johnson City, thumped Hempstead. They're not impressive. I don't think they're going to win this game. I don't even think it'll be close. But when you have a team like Thrall who has kind of popped up this year, we want to at least acknowledge them and say, because they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think they're going to slot right in, maybe third, maybe second. Rogers is 1-5, but they've played really tough teams. So we don't really know what to think about them. I just wanted to give Thrall, but we both feel that Lexington's going to win. Coach X?
I think at the end of the year, everybody's going to sit back and say, wow, that Lexington defense, if you watch them and they make it to, say, the semifinals or even Arlington, I think they're that good.
I do too.
They can make it to Arlington. And you're going to see that defense. It was that defense that Idalou brought to the table 10 years ago against Omaha Paul-Pew.
Omaha Paul-Pew, yep.
And nobody knew about Idalou, but that defense in green, just like Lexington.
Greenwood versus Dangerfield, same thing.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, that do not overlook this Lexington defense, man. They are really damn good.
This is what Coach X has to say. I think this is the first time I've ever had anything to say about Thrall on the show. In real life, not so much. I once almost married a girl from Thrall. But then that ex came up on that stick she peed on, and I said, sweet. See you later, girl I randomly met at this party. Lexington Minutemen win this one. Wow.
So,
wait.
He impregnated a girl at a party and just left her and just disregard for all his responsibilities.
Well, no, hang on. He also almost was going to marry this girl that he randomly met at a party, had sex, until she had
peed on a stick.
So they basically were together 6 weeks, and he was already ready to marry her?
Wait, how's this timeline work out?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think this is why Coach X has been engaged like 17 times.
All right.
All those he you know what? Coach X, and we all know this guy. Coach X is the dude, the first time he went to a strip club, he fell in love.
Probably.
Fell in love. My roommate in college, same way. Love you, Jamie. I know you listen. Oh, I don't buy that. I don't buy you. You're too road hard and weary and road put up wet. Yeah. True. You're like saddled. You're like, you might be 52, but you look 96, and that's a compliment.
Wow.
Your dad looks younger than you.
wow, my dad's like 94, dude.
Dude, and he's still spry. Like he's
My
not
dad's more spry than I am.
You know who else is like that? Barry Switzer's about to turn 87, and I was watching a ESPN.
I just got finished with
Bootlegger's Boy. Isn't that great?
Yeah, Bootlegger's Boy. It is good, but
it's
I
one of my
had to put
favorite.
it down. I'm like 3 pages away, but this week I can't read it.
Oh, because
finish it.
Because you're right.
No, Texas OU.
Texas OU. Yeah, I always growing up, I I'm a Horns fan, but man, those 80s Switzer Wishbone was fun to watch.
Dude.
And back then, you could not root for them that 1 week, and then I could root for them in the Big Eight the rest.
Man.
I
When they played Nebraska. I was all about OU.
I just loved watching that game. I miss OU Nebraska.
Or they play Miami. They always got their ass kicked by Miami, but it was fun to watch.
Well, Miami, it's funny. Miami literally is what is that defense, how they shut down that option is why we have option spreads now, because you realized if you allowed the linebackers space, they're going to destroy you. But if you spread them out.
Athletic linebackers like Miami had,
dude,
but not everybody could get those back.
Not
in the day,
them,
right?
but that's
now they're a dime a dozen.
I was just literally just about to say that. I was listening to one of the SEC shows, and they were talking about, it used to be even the bad teams back in the old days would have a 1,500-yard rusher. Now even the bad teams in college football have 2 guys at linebacker that can fly to the ball and can hit like anvils. It's just crazy how that position's developed. All right, where are we going next?
All right, let's go to Woodville and Newton. Another sneaky good game. Woodville 5-1. Their only loss to Anahuac 29-20. Newton's 3-3, but their loss is to Western Start, Jefferson, and then that little Louisiana team, right?
Yeah, is it North Webster, I think?
Yeah. I like Newton in this one.
Man.
What says you? I like Newton by a touchdown, 2 touchdowns.
I really want to go with the Eagles. I had to get that joke in. I really want to go with Woodville. I really, really do. Because
you can't, though.
But here's the thing. Here's why. Because Newton, you are hitting it. That gummy, dude. You just knocked the whole table to the side.
I'm relaxing.
I know they've played tough teams, but this is not the old Newton that plays tough teams and they lose 14-7. They've given up 38 to West Orange Start, 47 to Jefferson, 30 to Tatum, 46 to it was DeRidder, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this Newton team can't go far in the playoffs, but this Newton team does not have the normal physical defense that we've seen.
Well, they had in the last few years.
Yeah, true. But in saying that, when it comes to Newton in their district and in that area, until you beat them, I just still got to go with. I got to go with Newton.
You do, because it's 2 letters, KJ. Sophomore running back for
And
Newton.
by the way, the more important is the 4 letters in front. Soft, but you know. Dude, they are building to be where next year and the next year it's Newton of 5 years ago. And I still, I do think though Woodville's going to give them a game, but I agree. And until a team out in them beats them, I'm going to go with Woodville. I'm going to go with Newton as well. Whitney versus Grandview.
I was going to go with the most underrated team in the state right now.
Who?
Franklin.
Well, we're going to get to them. It's the last Coach X one, so I want to save it for one more.
All right.
And I do. This is interesting. Whitney versus Grandview.
It is very interesting.
A few years ago, Whitney shocked the world and beat Grandview in district play. And this is the first time that I can remember in this rivalry. And this is one of those, people don't know about rivalry, where I think Whitney's the favorite. And I think Whitney might be the favorite by a couple scores.
Well, look. Whitney's 4-1. Their only loss was to Benbrook, 35-25 or 26. Grandview is 2-3. Look at Grandview's losses. They were to Glenrose, Conley, and Malakoff. Take Conley out. Conley is a solid team, but they are not Glenrose and Malakoff, right?
Yeah. Well, Glenrose might not be Glenrose now.
Glenrose is healthy.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, they're up there in the top echelon of 4A.
Well, they got to figure out that defense, man. That defense went bad quick.
It did, but I think when Glenrose is healthy, they're going to be the top echelon, and they'll get healthy within the next few weeks. So you got to think that Grandview at home has something to say about this. This is going to be, I think this is going to be one of the best games in the state. Everybody's looking at Whitney. Oh, wow, we beat Mart. They beat Mart.
Destroyed Mart.
Right. And they lost to a Benbrook team, but no shame in that.
Benbrook's in 4A is becoming a team that might be a dark horse in that
only
region.
Lost to them basically just over a touchdown.
Yep.
So the paper says Whitney by a lot. But I'm telling you, and I think Whitney is good. They're damn good. But I think Grandview is going to come into this game and push this game to the fourth quarter. I think Whitney wins, but it's going to be a lot closer than what you think.
I'm going to kill
Sorry,
you.
that was me this time.
I know, it's all right. I can see
Game
that.
Ball keeps doing it.
I can see that, and you bring up a point about who they played, and you're right. But here's the deal about that. To me, who you play and if you lose only matters if it's competitive. They got the doors beat off of them by Malakoff. They got the doors beat off of them by Glenn. But when you get
those are really damn good.
But
teams.
my point is
Has
you can't.
Whitney played anybody like Malakoff? No.
I mean,
Mart is not Malakoff. If Mart and Malakoff played right now, Malakoff would absolutely destroy.
But
Mart.
Whitney destroyed Mart.
Okay, but Malakoff would destroy them more.
But my point is if you're not competitive, even though you played a good team, if you're not competitive, that doesn't prove to me that you deserve that. Well, you're still like, to me, it's obvious. Grandview, a lot of it is youth. This isn't a negative. They're going to make the playoffs, but I think they've taken a step back this year, and I think Whitney's taken a step forward.
They've taken a step back, sure, without a doubt. But I still think Grandview's better than what the paper says. And it'll be closer.
This is why I love
I'm not
these
saying
games.
Grandview's going to win.
Oh, I know. I
think Whitney will win this ball game, but I think it could be within a touchdown. I'm telling you.
Right it very well. This is a rivalry game. Grandview's still Grandview. I don't disagree with you on that. I think this year it's more about how good Whitney is. I think Whitney is establishing themselves as a team that can make a run in the region.
As being a doormat for a long time.
And then being a 7 to 9 win team for 5 years.
Yeah.
Now they're finally, it feels like,
and
again,
they had a coaching issue several years ago. So yeah, you're right. All right. Pottsboro and Palmer. This is a good game.
Good old Palmer.
Yeah. Pottsboro's quarterback, Caden Humphrey, has thrown for almost 1,100 yards and ran for 900 so far. Man, does Pottsboro not know how to find those dominant dual threat quarterbacks every year?
So Munster played them earlier this year, and we have the Munster coaches show, and he said, I don't know how a team always has the same looking quarterback and same looking receiver core year after year. He goes, you could pop on their state finalist team and it looks exactly like it. As he said, one of the tallest wide receiver cores every year, and they're all basketball players. Yeah. And Coach Poe has just done a wonderful job of knowing what works there, and always he'll tweak it
because it's a Poe, and those Poes
know their shit
all the way back from McKinney. Know how to go.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's a Poe Stadium in McKinney.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
But you know, he'll tweak it enough, and this is why it's impressive. Some years they'll run it more. Some years they'll throw it more, but they're always going to be within 500 to 1,000 yards of each other, and it's going to look like the same team. And they took a step back a couple years ago, and they went 6-5. But you know what? They did that before, and then the very next year they were in a state championship game. So last year,
their downfall is going to be defense.
Yes, it's in certain athleticism.
I mean, the last few years, has been defense. It hadn't been the offensive side of the ball. It's been the defensive side of the ball. Now, this year, we'll see, is it going to be the defense again? Because Palmer has a quarterback in Eric Cisneros. He's a dual threat as well. Yeah. So what is this Pottsboro defense going to be able to do against Cisneros, who's thrown for 1,400 yards and ran for 730?
I think
this will be a big test for the Cardinal defense.
I think it will. I think they'll win, but I think they will give up points. And honestly, this is probably the only test for Pottsboro in this district. They're so happy to get out of that northeast Texas the Mount Vernons of the world.
The funny thing is they were in a northeast Texas district that was the only district in Class 3A that was really, really competitive, and they just drew the luck, and all the talent was way east of them.
Yep.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was. They had to drive 2 hours to get to all the talent. If they had been in a district anywhere around them, which there was no big 3A schools enough to build a district, they'd have won outright, but they had to go to in that part of the region. They were just in the worst case scenario.
100%.
District
Remember, they tried to get out of the district and they lost their appeal. And I know they were happy not only to get out of the talent, but like you said, and again, we're football, but think about the volleyballs and the basketballs and the baseballs and the tracks. Tuesday night, 2-hour travels one way type of thing. But
it put them in the toughest district out there. And there was only one district that had 3 people or 3 teams that could walk and chew gum at the same time. And they were really good.
Even the bad teams in that 2-year run was like Commerce, who was 6-4 and was 0-5 in district.
Still competitive.
And even in their losses, they were within 14 points. You know, so yeah, you're right. Anyway, I've got Pottsboro though winning this one.
Yeah,
I think eventually comfortably, but I'm like you though. I'm more wanting to see what the defense does.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you say comfortably, but we don't know anything about Pottsboro's defense
you're
right now.
Right.
I mean, I think Cisneros for Palmer, the quarterback, can expose a bad defense.
I agree.
He could go off on them, and all of a sudden they win a 65-64 game. You know, we just don't know. This will be a big showing for the Pottsboro defense. Show me what you're going to do. If you're going to win, you're going to hold Palmer down under 4 touchdowns, right?
I agree.
Okay.
All right, let's finish up with Franklin versus Troy. I'll go ahead and read Coach X. Troy, I feel like they get the shaft here. Not just in the game, but in life as well. Troy Trojans, one of the greatest fighting forces in the history of the world and outer realms. A blind man will write epic poems about you, and the world will remember you in history. Until you get to the 1990s and 2000s, and you'll be known for blocking sperm and making intercourse less pleasurable. There will be commercials about making you so thin that you can still feel the greatest place on God's green earth. Franklin wins anyway. So here's to you, Trojans. Go get you some fire and ice and keep 16-year-olds from making life-changing mistakes.
Okay.
Hey, by the way,
if there's ever been a genius pick by Coach
Yes.
X, I don't know. Who did he actually pick?
Franklin.
Okay, but that's the most genius pick by Coach X. He should be done now. That's it.
I just
walk off while you're ahead.
I just want to remind you, though, Coach X, if you would stop making fun of the Troy Trojans and maybe use them, you wouldn't have got that random girl that you wanted to marry where you had to run.
That girl in Boona.
Was it Boona?
Yeah, it was. The girl in Boona. Oh, my God. Did you see her picture? Eat it like an apple and she had big old teeth. I don't know, man.
What did he say? He found the first girl.
No, don't say that.
It wasn't that bad. It was just funny.
Pretty bad.
All right, so let's talk about the game. This happens every so once in a while on this show. You once got known as a Columbus hater, even though you really weren't saying anything wrong or really that bad. I've become now the Franklin hater simply because I said they weren't as good as they were when they were playing in a state championship last year. I've seen some people trying to make this one of the hot, like, watch out for Troy. And you do need to watch out for Troy. But
I mean, they are 5-0.
They're 5-0. They've beat
and they got
Salado, Hillsborough,
they got a running back in Jaden Lucky, who averages about 125 yards a game rushing.
Yep.
But Franklin is still physical. I still think right now that Franklin is the most underrated 3A team out there.
Is that not crazy to say? And I don't think you're wrong.
Because, you've been so successful, right? And you played up in your weight class this year, right? You played the Houston Legacy team and Salina, and you got beat both times, so it took the shine off of you.
I don't understand. Look, I'll say it again. I said it on the 4A show, and again, this is all tongue in cheek. I mean, what I'm saying is true, but I'm not angry about it. There's no way Franklin, even in a 3A Division I that is stacked, there's no way Franklin's not a top 10 team. They should be a top 10 team. You lose
top 3 for me.
They're at least top 5 for me. I don't agree that they're not in the because they lose to a 4A team that's the top 3 team in 4A Division I, folks, not Division II.
Right.
This is a full class and division jump, and then a legacy team with they're trying to basically build an IMG and they're doing a good job. Legacy's got some losses, but go look at all their losses. They're like 1 or 2 points or a score against good teams like Franklin. So again, I know I'm known as a Franklin hater, but folks, I'm 100% on the Franklin. And I think Coach Mark Fannin absolutely loves that people have forgotten about Franklin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, you put Jaden Jackson, Bubba Jackson up against just 3A defenses, and Noah Tart, a quarterback who's back again,
and who throws more than Franklin has in the last few years.
Look, man, I'm Franklin here. Everybody's forgot about me. I'm just rubbing my hands together, and I'm thinking, you know what? Forget about us, but we're going to see you in Arlington, and that could very well happen. I'm telling you right now that people are forgetting about Franklin, and that's fine and dandy. I'm not going to forget about Franklin, because Franklin will be there in Arlington, or they'll be damn close.
Now, I've always loved Tommy Brashear, the head coach of Troy, who was at Cameron Yo, and I felt got unfairly kind of doxxed and not doxxed.
Brashear would never answer us when we requested, could we come out? So
I know, but he's really super nice, though. It's odd. I think he's one of those.
That, but I emailed him and called him twice, and they never responded. So I hope you lose.
By the way,
I hope you go 0-80 this year.
Wow, wait.
I'm sorry. I don't want to go to a Troy game because of that. Sorry.
Wow. I love when Petty Grant comes out.
Brashear.
Anyway, I like him as a coach.
Brashear out by Sulphur Springs where we're going. There is a Brashear, Texas, and I'll go to that.
Oh, yeah,
not Tommy Brashear. Because
watch this now be
Tommy.
Watch this one be one of those where he's listened to us this whole time, and the only reason
I know, then I'd feel bad.
Then the email went to spam or something. You and I joke all the time. Some of these coaches
probably could be, and then I will. Be all nice.
I appreciate the coaches coming up now because they're all very tech savvy. Some of the older ones, I still, when you'll be like, yeah, I haven't heard back. I'm like, it's probably in a spam, and he just hasn't seen it. But anyway,
so if that was you, Coach Brashear, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's crazy though.
I'll probably never get to go to a Troy game.
Well, we've been to one Troy game in 17 years.
That was pretty awesome.
Well, it's funny how in 5 years how different they are, because that was a power set run team.
Yeah.
Almost running at times an inverted bone without the option. It was just straight power.
Right.
Now they're spreading it out, and you've got a really good quarterback in Joseph McMurtry. You've got
McMurtry's been money this year, right?
Yes, and then you've got a wide receiver. I swear to God, every year there's a Reed Ketchum somewhere in the state of Texas, and they always seem to play wide receiver and secondary. I think Troy will give Franklin a heck of a game for 3 quarters.
I don't think it's that
but
close.
Don't
I think
trust.
Franklin comes out and just stomps a mud hole.
Oh, I don't think that at all. I think Troy's really solid this year. I don't think
they are too, but I think again Franklin is starting to get back down to their weight class.
Yeah, that's a really good point right there. That's a really good point right there.
They start Troy's not going to be in this game in the second quarter. Franklin is going to whip that ass, and they're going to start whipping everybody's ass until late into the playoffs, and then they'll still whip everybody's ass and go to Arlington. And then who knows what will happen.
So Grant says Franklin's going to beat Hitchcock and Columbus.
Well, maybe not. Okay. They'll get to Hitchcock or Columbus. I think they get through Hitchcock, Columbus. Why are you making me make my playoff predictions?
I didn't. You're the one that said they're going to play in Arlington.
Okay. They got a darn good chance, but I'll tell you one thing. Troy ain't stopping that.
I don't think they'll stop them, but I think Troy can
going to come close.
I think Troy can put some points on the board. I do think that's the one thing.
Maybe a couple touchdowns.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Again, you got me now.
It's just Troy.
I love letter.
Just Troy.
I love letter.
Franklin is Franklin. I'm telling you.
I love lettered
Franklin. Will make a statement.
I love lettered Franklin. And by the way, I'm saying Franklin wins. This is the dumb arguments we get into. We're not even arguing about who wins.
I'm more pissed about Tommy Brashear.
Dude, let it go.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, Tommy, please.
By the way, Sulphur Springs hasn't responded either.
Yeah, but we can sit in the stands there. That's a cool stadium to sit in.
I don't mind that.
Hey, dude. Well, no, they
just respond and tell
me no. Just tell us no.
We never had anybody tell us no.
It's always
just nobody responding.
It always blows our mind though when it's the smaller schools and they're like, could you please bring 4 forms of ID, fill out this online, can we get 3 references and send us a link to one of your shows?
And we're like, you know what, we'll just sit in the stands
we'll just sit in the parking lot and watch the 20 people in the stands watching the game.
We don't even have to put it
anyway, that's gonna do it for this week. Grant picks Troy to win state.
I do not
if you want to hear that only, you can
to win state.
If you want to
I hope they go 0-8.
I like the Tommy Trojans better though. That sounds like a bad band or a guy that's a guy. I'm gonna say a guy that was in some '70s films. You don't want to talk about
Where'd
it.
you get that cotton?
Tommy Trojans. Man, watch us have this unknown Troy fan base that's just about to start hating on us now.
And then he listens,
And he's been listening like Leonardo DiCaprio on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He gets like popcorn every Wednesday or Thursday and gets a drink, and he's just all excited. He's like, "Oh, they're going to talk about that." Wait, I didn't know. They're in my spam with my Tommy Trojans ads. Anyway, if you want to just hear this and not see the train wreck that it is, you can hear the podcast only, S2S Grant and Terry.com. You can also find us on every podcast platform, or you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/@L4Media. Until next time, be safe in your travels for football. Enjoy all the games, and it is 9:16, and OU sucks. He's Grant, I'm Terry. This is Sideline to Sideline, the 3A edition.
Bouncing chicks, the county line, liquor